Let's get a quick take on Governor Jared Polis declaring May 15th as Kendrick Castillo Day after a memorial service was held on Wednesday to honor the teen who lost his life trying to take down one of the gunmen in the STEM school shooting. Patty Cahoon from Westward, it's been great to see the focus on the hero, one of the heroes of the event. Do you think that might change the style of media covering these kinds of things to focus more on a hero if available, the victims, and less on the shooters? Or is this just a brief glimpse of something we can be proud of until it goes right back in the gutter?
Well, the style has been changing for the last 20 years since Columbine. There's been the no notoriety campaign so that you don't name the perpetrators as much as you might otherwise. Certainly in the anniversary of Columbine, the 20th anniversary, the focus was all on the victims and the people who lost their lives there. In this case, we're going to see plenty of attention back on the shooters because they lived through this. They're going to be going through the court system, so we will be back on that topic.
David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. David, it seems to me that bravery is a bipartisan issue. There's not going to be anyone who wouldn't be commending Kendrick and his fellow classmates that did something about it. That whole idea of doing something about it seems it's something that it's the first time that some sort of, I guess, hopeful, some sort of strength in an issue that brings about a lot of hopelessness. This was the first time thinking about more about a strength and celebrating that with this memorial. What do you think?
Well, in a Colorado context, there have been plenty of heroic people who have done similar things in other states. But Governor Polis was definitely right to make it Kendrick Castillo Day. And if you read about the memorial service, this extraordinary act of bravery was nothing out of the ordinary for a very good person who'd been a helper to others and a great volunteer, like with the Knights of Columbus, all of his life. And there are lots of things that people can be divided about today, so it was great to have one day where everyone could come together to honor a true Colorado hero.
Eric Sonderman, political analyst, does this, I guess the same question I have with Patty, is this something that could actually maybe change the momentum of how we're covering and looking at these tragedies, or is this a really positive glimpse we get for a week or so, and then it goes right back to some of the negative things we've been used to?
Well, I think Patty's right. I mean, the coverage ethos has been changing gradually over time. Obviously, we have a somewhat different situation here, as Patty pointed out, because the two alleged shooters, I guess we need to use the word alleged, are alive and will be with us. It was appropriate for the governor to do this. Good for the governor for doing it. I mean, I don't think it was. Kendrick Castillo was brave to make Kendrick Castillo Day. That's just an appropriate thing a governor should do. There's no particular points for bravery on that. The countries and societies and states need heroes, and he is a hero, but it's tragic that he was put in that circumstance.
Susan Green, editor of the Colorado Independent, wrap up the panel for us. Thank you very much for being here. Susan, what do you think about, I guess it does seem like we're seeing at least a greater focus on the heroics. I've seen the different STEM strong signs around Highlands Ranch. I think a recent bill, while unrelated to this particular event, the section of highway named after David Saunders from the Columbine tragedy. The focus on heroes, I think, is bringing some folks together. What do you think about the events we saw this week?
It's all nice, right? But it's a sugar pill, and it distracts from the point at hand. There's nothing positive about these shootings. Kendrick's father wished he had just gone and hidden, and there's a really strong argument to make that by focusing on the heroics, you're not focusing on, can't we do better as a governor and as an administration and as a state and as a generation than naming a day after a victim? Can't we do better? I mean, I have a colleague I work with who was 6 or 7 at the time of Columbine, and he was the one we sent out that day of the shooting. And in 20 years, we are no closer to really any sort of solution. So to make this some sort of feel-good, positive thing, I think is a huge distraction.